And right here I was figuring, okay, it's probably a Brave Bird, that's fine, we'll survive this. I completely forgot that Terrakion is part fighting. I thought it was only rock for whatever reason. I let that go through. We get one shot. Giratina comes back in. I don't know how the heck we pulled off this win. What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Ox here with another video. If you're new to the channel, we do upload Pokemon Go content mostly related to PvP, and if you're a returning subscriber like A.Jones, thank you for the support. In today's video, we are taking a look at some more spice for Season 11 of Go Battle League, this time featuring the Swords of Justice. And this is a team that we have featured in the past on the channel. However, that was in the Ultra League remix, where a lot of the Pokemon that counter this team were banned. This time, we're taking a look at this team in the Open Ultra League, where a lot of Pokemon are going to give us massive issues. So we will be utilizing Virizion in the lead on this team, Cobalion operating as the safe switch, and Terrakion as the closer, hoping to find some ice or flying types. All three of these Pokemon are running the legacy move of Sacred Sword, which will require an elite TM if you did not get one already from a raid. Taking a look at the PvPoke ratings, once again another team with an F in coverage. Technically speaking, this is a huge upgrade over the triple Hitmon team, so hopefully we could pull out some big wins. If you enjoy this type of content, please consider leaving a like on the video. It really helps the channel grow. Leave a comment down below, and without any further ado, let's jump into the first battle right now. So jumping into the first set of battles, and you could see right here on the screen, this team has a lot of weaknesses in the Open Ultra League meta. This is a place where these Pokemon are not welcome, but we're going to try them out anyways on the same team. Virizion into an Umbreon, this is one of the dream leads you could possibly wish for. And the opponent appears to be staying in, so they're going to throw a foul play right here. It didn't even build up to the Psychic. We're not going to shield up right here. That does absolutely nothing. We are running Sacred Sword, which is a nice upgrade over close combat because we are not lowering our own defense, which is always a positive. Going for a second Sacred Sword right here, the opponent remains in this matchup. That tells us that they should be very weak to Virizion in the back, so we'll see what happens here. Building up to another Sacred Sword, going to throw here on the potential CMP tie. This will take out the Umbreon, and the opponent is going to come in now with a Cresselia. So gonna throw a Leaf Blade right here and likely swap out into the Cobalion in case they are in fact weak to that Virizion. And they bring in a Scizor, which is pretty interesting right here. Scizor doesn't have a great matchup against Cobalion either. And I guess it doesn't have a particularly great matchup against Virizion either, but I probably would have swapped that in instead of keeping the Umbreon there. Either way, these are relatively low ranked battles, so play is going to vary. The opponent going for a Night Slash right here, we do resist that, and building up to another Sacred Sword. Now the problem here is that our team doesn't exactly like to see Cresselia, so this could pose a potential issue right here. The opponent is going to throw a Grass Knot, which means we can potentially reach this Stone Edge right here, which I would imagine will do some damage to the Cresselia. It is very bulky, it actually doesn't hurt at all. And they're going to throw another Leaf Blade right here, Grass Knot rather, to take us out. And Virizion is going to come in. Now if this is another Grass Knot, it's not going to knock out the Virizion. The opponent here really isn't doing themselves any favors by going for the lower energy cost move. And I'm just trying to get this to a point where we could come in and farm down with the Terrakion. So going for another Leaf Blade right here, and this is where the game gets interesting. I'm going to swap out into the Terrakion, and we have two shields left. The opponent has energy. We're going to let the first Grass Knot go through, and we are going to go for the 2 shield flex, the very disrespectful 2 shield flex, I might add, because Grass Knot takes us out. Going for the quick attack farm down, making this game very close, able to farm down one of the riskiest 2 shield flexes you'll ever see, but we managed to pull it off right there. 1-0 with the Swords of Justice here in the Open Ultra League. Another beautiful lead to see. I mean, this is almost like a dream. The opponent swaps out into Zapdos. I'm going to throw the Sacred Sword here. Completely forgot we have Terrakion on this team. Should have just swapped out into that immediately, but still getting used to running this team. Terrakion comes in right now, and technically I probably should shield here because this thing actually is glass. Yes, you could see Thunderbolt almost taking us out. Thankfully, we are able to farm down right there and going to be able to land this Sacred Sword onto the Melmetal. Definitely did not want to give up alignment right there, so not shielding was a little bit risky, but fortunately it did not knock us out. We'll come back in here with the Virizion, and it really comes down to what the opponent has in the back. The problem with running a team like this is that oftentimes if they have something like a Charmer or a Giratina Altered, for example, we're going to be in big trouble. And right here, Talonflame is definitely one of those Pokemon that is going to cause a lot of problems for us. So going for the Sacred Sword right here, that's not going to do anything. Swap out into Cobalion, and this game is basically over. Now, looking back on this match, perhaps we could have brought the Cobalion into the Zapdos, but at the same time, you can't really not bring Terrakion into a flyer. If the opponent's running double flyers, so be it. You kind of just have to bring in the Terrakion where it's going to be useful. And although it would be very good for the Talonflame, there's no way we could predict that they did in fact have a Talonflame hiding in the back. So we end up losing this game. Just throwing the Sacred Sword here to get a bit of information on how much damage this actually does for future reference, because we are likely to see a lot more Talonflames in this video. Let's hop into battle number 3. Currently 1-1. Virizion into a Dragonite. This is an awful lead to see, but thankfully the two Pokemon in the back have a decent matchup here, so I bring in the Cobalion. The opponent is going to throw a move here. Should only be a Dragon Claw, which is going to be resisted here, so we take that very well. They bring in Walrein, which is definitely not the greatest answer to Cobalion, but does still have some play because of Earthquake. We're going to throw the Sacred Sword right here. They are likely to shield at least once, and I am trying to count the Powder Snows here, so this felt like it was only an Icicle Spear. I decided to no shield, and it was in fact only the Icicle Spear, which we are going to resist. Able to reach another Sacred Sword right here. Unfortunately, it just falls a little bit short of KOing, but this once again should only be another Icicle Spear. So I let it go through, able to farm down here, and now the Dragonite will likely come back in. Actually, they come in with the Venusaur instead, so building up to the Stone Edge right here. This will do a decent chunk of damage here to the Venusaur, and they are going to farm us down. That's quite a big farm, but we'll come in with the Virizion. Now, not a great matchup here, of course, because Venusaur does learn Sludge Bomb. Decide to no shield the first one because it doesn't KO. In case they do bait with the Frenzy Plant, don't want to shield the first. Do shield the second, it is another Sludge Bomb. And I'm going to get to this Leaf Blade right here. The opponent is going to allow it to go through. We are able to farm down, and now we're swapping out instantly into the Terrakion. And Dragonite really doesn't have much play here, especially with us still having a shield. So we're going to let the Dragon Claw go through. Still does a lot of damage, as you could see. Terrakion is definitely very glassy and not a Pokemon you want to put all of your trust in late in the game. But thankfully in this situation we were able to pull that off. Hopping into the next battle, this is an awful lead to see and extremely spicy Infernape, something you're pretty much never going to see. I can't bring in Cobalion here. Can't bring in Terrakion because it's my only answer, so I'm forced to stay in here with Virizion, which we're actually still dealing a decent chunk of damage to. My play here is to try and catch the next Blast Burn onto the Terrakion, so going to force a shield here with the Sacred Sword and try to time this so that we do catch the Blast Burn onto the Terrakion a little bit early right there, so it should still only be a Blast Burn. Thankfully it is, but that still does so much damage, and Sylveon destroys us before we could even realize Terrakion was in there. So Cobalion will come in now. Cobalion has a decent match against the Charmers because it is part steel, still taking neutral damage, so it's not optimal. And obviously any Charmer is going to cause big issues for this team, but if you're going to have one of these Pokemon aligned onto a Charm user, it definitely has to be Cobalion. So going for the Stone Edge right here, I do remember at this point I was thinking this could potentially be a Fire double Charm team, but that's actually a Giratina Altered, which means GG, game over. I don't want the smoke. Back out of that match because there's really nothing we could do against Giratina Altered at that point in the battle. Giratina Altered is a huge problem for this team, as you could imagine. But this is a very positive lead to see. Virizion into Swampert. Opponent swaps out into the Talonflame, likely trying to catch the Leaf Blade. Gonna throw this Sacred Sword right here. We do get a shield, which is very nice. Swap out into Terrakion. And right here I was figuring, okay, it's probably a Brave Bird. That's fine, we'll survive this. I completely forgot that Terrakion is part fighting. I thought it was only rock for whatever reason. I let that go through. We get one shot, give up switch, and now we're in a really tough spot because we have lost alignment. I did get a huge farm down, but there's a Giratina Altered in the back. So how the heck are we supposed to win this game? Well, we're gonna try anyways. I need to preserve this Virizion for the Swampert because obviously it destroys Cobalion. Right here, we catch the Dragon Claw to Cobalion. That's a good start. and the opponent will likely swap out into the Swampert. Here it comes, going to throw the Sacred Sword right here. This is a horrible matchup for Cobalion, but we do get the shield, which is very important. So the opponent's going to throw a Hydro Cannon. I'm shielding here because I want to preserve the health here. I need this for the Giratina, so I'm going to shield once again. I'm trying to wait for my switch timer to come back up, so I'm throwing the Sacred Sword to allow the switch timer to reset. Swap out into Virizion, want to get to this Leaf Blade as soon as possible, get rid of this Swampert without taking any damage onto the Virizion. And now, although they have a Giratina, it's at about 60% health. Both our Pokemon are about 50-60% health, so I believe there is still some play right here. We're going for the Leaf Blade, just trying to do as much chip damage as possible to this Giratina, forcing it to dump all of its energy. Really hoping I could swap out right here, but the switch timer is not up yet. They farm us down. Not ideal. Cobalion comes in, still very healthy. Opponent likely going for Shadow Sneak, actually running Ancient Power. They do not get the boost. Can we reach the Stone Edge? Yes, we can. This is going to be enough to take out that Giratina. Bang! There it is. Giratina getting taken out by the Swords of Justice, delivering justice to the Open Ultra League, able to salvage a 3-2 set. This team is absolutely insane. Can we keep the success rolling in set number 2? Let's find out right now. So was going positive in the first set a fluke? Most likely, but we're going to keep on playing anyways with this team because it is extremely entertaining and it is also a lot of fun. But that is not fun. A Togekiss in the lead, going to swap out into Cobalion. Thankfully we have two pretty decent answers here. I mean, Terrakion still takes super effective damage from the charm, so it's definitely not a comfortable matchup. Berserker comes in, which is actually not a great matchup for Cobalion. However, the opponent stayed in quite a bit of time with the Togekiss before swapping out, so with this big of an energy lead, it actually becomes a somewhat playable matchup for Cobalion, and we could technically take switch here. So I'm going for the Sacred Sword. The opponent's going to shield up, and right here, if it's close combat, we get KO'd, but I also need to preserve this shield. So I decide to let this go through, and thankfully it's a foul play instead, which means we're able to get to this Sacred Sword, take out the Berserker, and take alignment without having to use our shield. And since that Togekiss had a big energy lead, I wanted to preserve that shield for right here. This is still way too much HP for us to come in and farm down with Virizion. They bring in the Stunfisk, and you already know what that means. Stunfisk killer in the back. Virizion, Death Warrant on its head, going to take this Rock Slide damage like a champ. All we need to do here is store a Leaf Blade to take out the Togekiss. Opponent doesn't want the smoke, gonna back out of that match. Coming back from a Togekiss lead, double steal in the back definitely helped out, but still a somewhat impressive win. And here is another very challenging lead, going to swap out into Cobalion, and the opponent staying in, trying to catch that move onto the Togekiss. We don't fall for it. Gonna throw this Stone Edge. Do they know? Yes, they do. So they shield that up. We could technically win this in the 0s and the 1s, so trying to get to another Stone Edge. If it's an Ancient Power, we survive. I think it's worth the gamble. They go for the Flamethrower, very well played. Unfortunate for us, I'll come in with Terrakion. Look at how much damage we are taking from Charm. Absolutely insane. We're basically KO'd. They bring Walrein into the Terrakion. What the heck is in the back that is so afraid of Terrakion? We're about to find out. It's a Venusaur. So you would think this is a GG. We should be winning right here somewhat comfortably. Going to shield up the first move. Like I said, you never want to shield up the first one in that situation because it will not KO. We get baited. That's a huge blow. And look at this. I'm going for the Leaf Blade. Another big mistake. You want to be going for Sacred Sword in this matchup. I am getting brain cramps. I am out here playing like Manchester United, getting slapped by Man City. This is disgraceful to watch. Keep going for the Leaf Blade. And as you're going to see, if I just went for the Sacred Swords instead, that little health that the Venusaur had remaining might not actually be there. They might have gotten knocked out, which means that Terrakion would come in here, throw that Sacred Sword, which I didn't do for some reason, decided to throw a Smackdown instead, and we would have potentially won the game. Instead, we're going to throw the Sacred Sword right here, take out the Walrein, and then the Venusaur comes back in, able to get to the Frenzy Plant, which is going to take us out. And once again, we throw another game. Get your Ox noobs in the chat because we are an absolute noob. Throwing games galore, but it is what it is. Season of Spice, Virizion into Aggron. Okay, so Spice meets Spice right here. the opponent's going to swap out into Shadow Machamp. Now, the really sad part about this is that Virizion actually loses to Shadow Machamp, and Virizion is technically our best answer to Shadow Machamp. So what the heck are we supposed to do right here? I decide to shield. It is a cross chop. And notice I'm actually sneaking in a lot of quick attacks in between the moves. So you would think that this would actually help us to flip the match. We get another one in right there. And I figured, okay, we need to farm down here. We've snuck in so many moves, not able to do it. Going to go down with so much energy, and we give up switch and the shield advantage. Absolutely disgraceful. Cobalion comes in, they bring in Clefable. This is absolutely horrible. Cobalion had a very good match against Aggron as well, so this could have potentially been a win. I mean, that Clefable in the back would have gave us problems anyway, so maybe not. But we are out here looking like PSG, throwing games against Real Madrid, and this is looking absolutely horrendous for us. Opponent swaps out into the Aggron to give us a little bit of hope right here. Going to throw the Sacred Sword. In fact, we'll throw 2, get rid of this Aggron, but unfortunately, we can't really farm to get to a Stone Edge, which is necessary to take out that Clefable. So we are going to lose this game. Maybe a Sacred Sword might have done the job right there, but either way, very poorly played on our part. I mean, we really didn't have an answer to the Shadow Machamp. When you run a team this bad, things like that are just going to happen. Unfortunate though to lose to an Aggron lead. And speaking of a bad lead to see, Giratina Alter, this is the nightmare. Ho-Oh in the Ultra League, what the heck is going on? Gotta build up to the Stone Edge and just hope they don't know. They do. Everybody seems to know the Cobalion movesets nowadays, so big shield right there, going to let the Sacred Fire take us out. And now we'll come in with Terrakion. And of course, this time we are definitely going to be shielding up the Brave Bird, because I do remember now it is a part fighting type. So Brave Bird is going to hurt a glassy Pokemon like this in the Ultra League. They bring in Regirock, which is interesting. So we're going to go for the Sacred Sword right here. I mean, this is definitely a lot more playable for us, but there's still a Giratina in the back, so not really sure what we're going to do right here. Either way, going for the Sacred Sword once again. And I need to shield up right here because I need to keep this alive for the Giratina. So Focus Blast comes through. Going to, we get the low battery, love to see it. The opponent here swaps out into Giratina. I'm going to throw the Rock Slide and then swap out into the Virizion. Now, my main concern here is, does the opponent have a move stored on the Regirock? Because if they do, it's going to be a little bit problematic. They're going to take out the Terrakion right here. I don't really care too much about this. Come in with Virizion. What I need to remember here is that if they have a move, I need to keep a Leaf Blade here to win CMP against their potential snipe. So I'm building up to 2 Leaf Blades right here. I'm going to throw right now, and we're going to slow this down to tell you what I'm thinking. Need to anticipate the swap after they throw the Dragon Claw. So I'm looking at the top right-hand corner at the typing. Look at the Rock Giratina, but it shows Rock. Regirock's coming in to snipe. Click on the Leaf Blade. Bang! There it is. Regirock gets taken out. Giratina comes back in. I don't know how the heck we pulled off this win, but somehow came back against a triple hard counter team. What in the world? 2-2, definitely the win of the set right there. Let's hop into the 5th battle. Try and salvage another 3-2. Virizion into an Articuno. Absolutely horrendous lead. Going to swap out into the Cobalion. The opponent brings in Empoleon. Now, this isn't a great lead. However, once again, we have a slight energy lead. So, can we take advantage of this? Sacred Sword comes through. Opponent does not shield. Going to shield up the Hydro Cannon here. I need to take switch here at all costs. So I'm going to try for it. Going for another Sacred Sword. They're going to shield that up. I'm trying to manage the energy very well right here. Getting to another Sacred Sword. Let's see if they double shield. They do. So now it really comes down to, can I outpace to this next Sacred Sword? We had a big energy lead and we actually are able to do it. Going to flip switch right here. Sacred Sword taking out the Empoleon. And what in the world is this? Opponent running some Ox Spice right here with the Virizion. I don't know why the heck I'm going for the Stone Edge. I was so confused and shocked and amazed at seeing a Virizion on the opponent's side that I threw a Stone Edge against a fighting type. It is what it is. Going to get farmed down here. They are absolutely loaded on energy. I bring in my own Virizion here to tank all of these moves. They're actually running close combat, which in this case actually does benefit them more. But we have Terrakion for that Articuno in the back, and you know Articuno doesn't want any of this. Even if they're running Hurricane, I don't think it's gonna KO. Icy Wind though coming through. Terrakion gonna reach this Sacred Sword and put this Articuno to rest in peace. Bang, there it is. Terrakion closing out the game, able to salvage the 3-2 set, back-to-back 3-2s, 6-4 overall. Considering this was in the Open Ultra League, I am very happy with the performance. Obviously, I do not recommend running this team. However, if you're looking to have fun and you have these Pokemon built for whatever reason in the Ultra League, definitely test it out. If you enjoyed this content, please consider leaving a like and a comment down below. And if you'd like to see more content like this, consider subscribing to the channel. Thanks for watching.